Inquisitor, are you ready to die? Countless mouths and 1,000 eyes. The stars are his vessel. I am Alfarius, and the Hydra will devour you.
You are insane, and I will stop your madness.
Insane, you say? Tell me, which one of us desecrates the will of the Emperor with ill-placed fanaticism and religious nonsense? I pity you, poor blind mortal. Or the Emperor!
Great work, Inquisitor. You have cut off the head. Now, the body will die.
You're insane.
Knowledge that broke his mind could await you on those pages.
The Conclave has sent you a message, Inquisitor.
I have received word of your glorious work. You have preached our creed with the necessary force and zeal. Your task is finished. Imperial forces are busy cleaning up the rest on Dagmar Primaris and Vismar Minoris. The Emperor protects.
relay station. Tech Priest, I need a status report.
Monastery has been inactive for 32.7 standard Imperial years. No signs of tech plagues or...
I have found the remains of an Imperial squad. They have been massacred.
Possibly of a hostile incursion, increased by 85.7%.
This must be the relic.
Die, heretic!
I've been expecting... Enough! You are a mockery of a warrior, a creature of a lesser race. Killing you would be only a waste of my precious time. You'll perish soon anyway.
What was that, Inquisitor? What is a Drukhari? I don't recall meeting any of them.
You are lucky. It's likely you would not have survived the encounter. They are the Dark Elder.
When I was a child, Grexus told some disturbing stories about them. Ruthless pirates preying on the Imperium, right?
They are not simple pirates, and they are worse than ruthless. The Dark Elder are the forsaken kindred of the Craftworld Elder. They revel in enslavement and torture. They are cunning and sadistic.
And now, they are here.
But to what end? The Cogitators could grant me some insight into the situation.
Access denied to the central archives from this cogitator. Proceed to the data vault, Inquisitor.
Good idea.
This station is categorized as the main communications conduit from the system to the rest of the sector. The data vault must contain all the astropathic messages that were swallowed by the Great Epsilon warp surges. The presence of Drukhari explains the lack of any sign of assault on the station. The Xenos must be using the webway to strike swiftly from their portals and retreat immediately. Correct. Remember that we are the Xenorite, specializing in research into Xenos relics in the sector. We have extensive knowledge of the interdimensional labyrinth known as the webway. Preparations in progress. Injecting memory stimulants into the tertiary amyloid as we speak.
I have found the remains of the Inquisitorial retinue that disappeared as the system. Clearly the work of the Dark Elder.
That's one mystery solved. I wonder what happened to his ship and the crew, though.
They might be enjoying the famous Dark Elder hospitality.
With all due respect, you always seem to find a way to presume the worst.
That's a good Inquisitor, Captain. data vault is empty. The machines have been destroyed.
Data retrieval charts confirm your assumption. Alpha-grade tech heresy. The fact that it has been executed by Xenos race is an aggravating circumstance.
They massacred an entire void station.
Another aggravating circumstance. Suggested approach. Investigate the human remains.
Yes, I was planning to do that anyway. They must be the corpses of the local astropaths. New audio log. Relay station has been cleared. I'm heading back to the ship now. We know that the Dark Elder infiltrated the system, which could explain the silence and the apparent desolation. I will continue my investigation with this conclusion in mind.
Requesting immediate status update, Inquisitor.
The turrets didn't open fire this time. Your binary litany has worked.
Obviously. My calculations predicted a remarkable 91.43% chance of your survival.
I'm rather pleased you didn't mention this before.
Now you will need to access the teleport beacon network.
Wait. I have incoming hostiles. I'll take care of this first.
At your command.
This is Lord Inquisitor Klosterheim speaking. I trust that you can hear me, but my current circumstances are not ideal for transmissions. I don't know who you are. I don't even know what you look like, so don't take this personally. But you are an Inquisitor, that much I gathered from the snippets of your Vox signal on the Inquisitorial channels. I must command you to leave the Martyr immediately. You have stumbled upon an investigation that has been sanctioned by the Caligari Conclave, and which might have a huge impact on Holy Terror. Your presence here might lead to unnecessary complications. Leave now, and may the Emperor be with you. Requesting immediate status update, Inquisitor.
At your command.
Captain, I've cleared the area, but the rest of the hangar is still crawling with mutants. I can't leave the transport here undefended.
Do you want me to order it back?
Not yet. I might need it, in case the Tech Priest's plan doesn't work out. I'll purge the area first.
At your command.
This is Lord Inquisitor Klosterheim speaking. I trust that you can hear me, but my current circumstances are not ideal for transmissions. I don't know who you are. I don't even know what you look like, so don't take this personally. But you are an Inquisitor, that much I gathered from the snippets of your Vox signal on the Inquisitorial channels. I must command you to leave the Martyr immediately. You have stumbled upon an investigation that has been sanctioned by the Caligari Conclave, and which might have a huge impact on Holy Terror. Your presence here might lead to unnecessary complications. Leave now, and may the Emperor be with
you. Disable the alarm in time. On the bright side, finally silence.
You cannot
Inquisitor, you can proceed with your priority assignment. According to my analysis, you have eliminated 78.65% of the local hostile forces. The automatic defenses of your transport can easily handle the rest if needed. Correct. You need to find a functioning cogitator and access the teleport beacon map of the deck. Your chances of thoroughly exploring a fortress monastery this size are minuscule. You need to be able to avoid traveling long distances on foot.
humbled by your dedication, and I admire your decision.
Inquisitor, what happened?
I saw something. A revelation, I'd say. Possibly a holy vision from the Emperor of Mankind. A call that must be answered.
With all due respect, you should return to the ship.
Nonsense, Captain. I'm fine. This is just a small inconvenience. I'll move on.
Allow me to interrupt, Inquisitor. You simply cannot know that. However, I am an expert on toxins and plagues. It is time you properly utilize my capabilities. I will examine you the moment you return.
Found the cogitator. What now?
Listen to me carefully. Chant with me the sacred numeric key and type in the sequence. You'll gain access to the locations of all teleport beacons on this deck.
You have the results of my physical checkup. You know what could have caused that strange episode?
Let me be very clear. Even a genius like me can't work miracles with inferior equipment like what you have on this ship. Still, your test results don't indicate that you suffer from any maladies that could have caused your symptoms. I have detected some interesting anomalies, though.
What are you talking about?
Very precise microscopic surgical marks on your brain. Traces of an old mind-cleansing process.
I am an Inquisitor. We carry the burden of terrible truths and secrets that sometimes even we are not allowed to keep for long. Of course, I have been mind-scrubbed before. And I'm certain that I should praise the Emperor that I was freed from dangerous memories. Could that be the cause of the symptoms?
Normally, no. But you have only recently been experimenting with a unique psychic artifact. There is no data about this Uther's tarot. Fact, you risked using the deck, and now you have had an extraordinary psychic experience.
I admit that it's a strange coincidence. I have the map of the local teleport beacon network. What now?
The teleportarium requires exact coordinates. You must know Lord Klosterheim's location, and your chances to find him on the Martyr on your own are approximately 0.
This sounds very reassuring so far.
The analytical recitations show only one swift solution. I must warn you that the suggestion itself could be a breach of several Adeptus Mechanicus protocols. You must seek an audience with the great presence controlling the sensory systems on the Martyr. You need to talk to the machine spirit.
How? I'm not familiar with the process.
First you locate a mainframe cogitator. Then I will provide instructions.